much for joining me once again. Now, I went out and did a bit more toy hunting today, and I actually filmed it this time, and I managed to find some, amazingly, I managed to find some vintage collection figures on the peg. So this first store was a Big W store here in Melbourne, Australia, and they had pretty much the whole case, I think, on the pegs, and so I snapped up that Hoth Trooper, and they had a few other bits and pieces, the Solo Falcon thing there, and the Emphas Ness and Speeder, the Luke and Wampa, and all that sort of stuff. So I didn't buy them because I bought them online because I didn't think I'd actually find them in store. So at store, and the next place I went to was this was a Toy World store, and they had a bunch of vintage collection figures here, but no Hoth Troopers. I think that's going to be the hot figure from that wave. They had the Force Link 2 starter packs, which were at $60, which is fucking insane. Pardon my French, but that's just insane. And they had a few of the single carded Solo figures as well. And I stepped up Chewie and Maz Kanata from there. And then they had a few Black Series 6-inch figures as well. Then I went to, this is at the same shopping centre, plaza type thing, and then I went to a Target store, and they had nothing new in the way of 3.75 inch figures. They had a few 6-inch figures, but 3.75 inch, all The Last Jedi, as you can see there, about 1,000 of them. And then here's another store that I went to, another Big W store, and as you can see there, same sort of thing. Obviously the Hoth Rebel Trooper is going to be the big seller in this wave, and the others are going to be peg warming. So here's what I picked up. As you can see, the two Solo figures from Toy World and the Hoth Rebel Trooper from Big W. Aussie collectors, that seems to be the place to go at the moment. I went to a couple of Target stores, a couple of Kmarts, did not find anything. So yeah, Toy World and Big W. So here's a very quick look at the Maz Kanata figure. She's got her Rebel blaster there, and her backpack, and her goggles, and looking very good. Sculpted detail and paintwork, not too bad. And here's a very quick look at Chewbacca from Solo as well. His weapon obviously is different to the bowcaster that we're used to from the other Star Wars movies. There's actually a bit of paint applications on the bow, on the weapon there. I don't know if that's a grenade launcher underneath the barrel there, but there's paint work on that and on the handle as well. And I don't know, are they grenades in his bandolier? That's different to the normal bandolier that Chewbacca wears, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. And now to the last figure that I picked up in this toy hunting adventure is the Rebel Soldier Hoth, or Rebel Sold, or whatever the fuck that says. That looks horrible. One language per name tag, please. And so I'm going to compare this to an original, one of the first vintage collection figures, which is Dak Rolter. So the card backs look exactly the same size and shape, so that's a plus. At first I thought the card backs on the new vintage collections were a bit more flimsy than the old ones, but I don't think they are. You can see the bubbles there. For a normal size figure, the bubble on the new vintage collection figure is a lot wider, a lot bigger than the first vintage collection. That's not good, because that means that there's less space on the card for the picture. The bubble sits lower on the new vintage collection figures. The logo sits lower. The peg hole is much bigger and completely perforated. The racetrack around the logo, I think it sits lower on the side of the new Empire Strikes Back logo, and on the back you can see the difference there. Having said that, the later issues of the vintage collection did have similar sort of images of the waves of figures as the current vintage collection figures. So, and this is what you get when you open up the Hoth Rebel Trooper. The bits and pieces come in two trays. The bottom tray is obviously his weapons and backpack, and he has a rifle there with a sling type thing, nicely detailed, but there's no paint or anything like that on there. And you also get, he has a pistol. Guess that's pretty well done for the scale. And then you get the backpack. Very nice. Actually, I was going to say it reminds me of the backpack from the POW from the Rogue One figure, but I guess the POW backpack should remind us of that. But very similar, looks very similar. And the figure itself, this should be the basic standard of Star Wars 3.75 inch figures. This is what it should be. This is a fantastic figure. I know it's a reissue from back in the day. This was part of a Hoth battle set or some shit like that. This should be the standard, the basic standard. Fantastic figure. Comes with super articulated, obviously, but it comes with a heap of accessories. The pistol, the rifle, the backpack. Also has a removable sort of headscarf thing that I'll show you soon. And as I said, super articulation. There's a lower skirt there, a soft goods lower skirt to help with the articulation in the hips. This should not be the exception. This should be the norm. There you can see the removable headscarf, helmet thing, the goggles. You got a nice head sculpt of I don't know who underneath, but it looks pretty cool. This is the good stuff, the good gear from back in the day, and we should be fighting for this to be the norm these days. I mean, I know this is turning up in the vintage collection, but the vintage collection is not the norm at the moment. The vintage collection is like the Black Series was before. The rarities. This should be the norm. Okay, so there you go. That's what I picked up on my most recent toy hunt. The Solo A Star Wars Story Chewbacca, the Maz Kanata from I guess the same sort of line, but she's from the Last Jedi, and also the vintage collection Rebel Trooper Hoth. If you haven't already, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.